What's up, guys? Welcome to This Week in the NFL. Week 11 is our Week 11 preview, and we have another exciting week of games. This week, we only have three different that we picked. I picked the Jaguars, you picked the Colts. I picked the Raiders, you picked the Bengals, and then I picked the Jets, and you picked the Redskins.
Yep.
So how you feeling about those three?
Not very good anymore about any of them, to be honest. Bengals kind of like maybe they can squeak out a win. I mean, either team for the Bengals and the Raiders I could have seen winning at the beginning of the year. Obviously not now. Colts-Jags is probably the closest game out of the three, I would say.
So, yeah, I definitely agree with that. I'd agree that I feel really good about Oakland Bengals.
I would too, yeah.
I mean, I don't know if the Bengals are going to win a game.
Yeah.
And, I mean, they're on the road in Oakland. I just don't really see that happening.
I don't either.
But Jaguars-Colts, I think that's going to be a really good game.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be interested to see how Jacoby Brissett looks, whether he's looking 100%, because Brian Hoyer was so bad last week that even if Brissett wasn't 100%, they might be like, dude, we couldn't even beat the Dolphins without you. Like, you got to play, man, if we want to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
And then obviously Jets-Redskins, just two crappy teams. I hope Haskins plays well, though. I mean,
Yeah. I mean,
he's starting for the rest of the season. They announced that this week, so we'll see.
I mean, he did better in his first actual start than what he's been doing, so I'll give him that.
He didn't throw a pick.
Still wasn't great. Still waiting on that first touchdown pass, though.
Yeah. Someone asked me if he had a touchdown, and I said, I have to assume he does, and then I looked it up. And
Yeah.
he didn't. I was like, Haskins.
He has more touchdowns for the other team than himself. But,
Yikes. And one to Jabril. But
Yeah.
whatever. All right. So, going in, those are the games we have different. But, I mean, it's a really good week. I think both of our games of the week are really good. And my first one is going to be Texans at Ravens. And this game, I mean, so as a Steeler fan, I obviously want nothing more than the Texans to win. But it's going to be tough. The Ravens are completely red hot. They've won 5 in a row. They're coming back home after, an easy trip to Cincinnati. Didn't break a sweat. Lamar
Right.
Jackson was out here spinning out dudes like it was
wearing
nothing.
sunglasses on the sidelines.
Yeah.
Cooling,
Yeah, did not break a sweat. So they're going to be ready. But the Texans are coming off the bye week. I'm hoping they have a game plan ready to stop Lamar because we know that the Texans offense is going to be able to put up some points. But this game's really going to come down to, can the Texans defense make Lamar turn it over and get stops when it matters?
Oh yeah, for sure.
And I just don't know if it's going to happen. I mean, Lamar's just looked so good that it's hard to picture them kind of like losing again now. You know what I mean? Like
I mean, after watching them do what they did against the Patriots defense, it's kind of like, how can we stop this team, you know?
Yeah, that's the thing too, because when they lost to the Browns earlier to drop to 2-2, I was like, oh, okay, this is who I thought the Ravens were. They're gonna have some really good games. They'll beat up on the bad teams, but they're gonna lose when it comes, when push comes to shove. But then they go out and they beat the Seahawks and they beat the Patriots, and it's like now I'm like, oh gosh,
Yeah.
like I don't even know if I picked the Texans to win originally. I'm going to stick with the Texans, but it will definitely be an upset if it happens. I'm just kind of praying Deshaun puts the team on his back.
Yeah. Kind of moving on to my game of the week. We had touched on it a little bit just a second ago. Jags and Colts. This is a big game for both teams in terms of just getting into second place even in the South, because the Jags are sitting in fourth place at 4-5, and the Colts are 5-4 sitting in second place, and then the Titans are third at 5-4. They have a bye this week, but I mean, this is a really close contested division, too.
Yeah, this whole division is crazy close.
Every divisional game is going to mean everything to these teams. Obviously, we know Gardner Minshew is not playing this week. Minshew Mania looks like it's over for the moment. I know, for the time being. It was fun while it lasted. He got benched, obviously, a couple weeks ago after just completely playing like trash over in London. I think 3 picks, was it? Was it 3 picks?
Yeah,
3 or 4.
it was not. I think
good,
it was
though.
4. It was 4. The 4 possessions to end the game. He turned it over.
Yeah, I think one was a fumble or something.
Yeah.
So not the best showing. So they decided, Nick's healthy. Let's throw him back in there. So it'll be his first action since the first quarter of week 1. So it'll be nice to see him back on the field.
I believe he threw a touchdown in his one drive.
Yeah.
I think he broke his collarbone on
he broke it on the throw. Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see that. And then you said Jacoby's coming back this week.
I believe I have him in fantasy, and it's looking like he's going to play.
That's so good for them. Brian Hoyer just did so bad, like we had talked about. He struggled so much against the Dolphins. And, I mean, when he had come in against the Steelers like 2 weeks ago, he'd looked all right for the moment. And then, I thought he'd at least be able to game manage against the Dolphins. And That didn't happen.
Yeah,
so.
the longer he has to play, the more it gets exposed.
Yeah, so if Jacoby's coming back, that looks a lot better for them. But I wouldn't rush him back with a high ankle sprain. I wouldn't really rush that back at all.
No, yeah, because I mean, obviously, if he goes down for the year,
Your season's
over.
screwed, and it's like you're still competing for a wild card spot right now. So I don't know. We'll see how that goes. But regardless of who's starting, I think the Jags will pull out with this one. I think they're a little more desperate for a win right now.
Yeah, that's fair. And, I mean, that's kind of, to go into my next game of the week, Bears-Rams, that's kind of where I think the Bears might be able to get this done, too. Mm-hmm. Because they're going to be desperate. You know, both these teams at 5-4 and 4-5 are not sitting good. You know, they're both in third place in their own divisions.
Yeah.
Which is pretty crazy. Mm-hmm. But, you know, if the Bears lose this game, dropping to 4-6, you know, it looks a lot worse. Whereas the Rams, you know, dropping to 5-5, it's still. I mean, honestly though, the NFC is just going to be so hard to make the wild card game.
Oh yeah, it's like the Western Conference for football.
You already have the Vikings and the Seahawks as the two wild cards, and both of those teams have like 3 losses, or not more than they have like 4 losses combined. But I think they both have 2 losses. Yeah. So both these teams are going to have to like fight for a wild card spot, and they're both going to have to do really good. And I could see them both kind of missing it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Because if the Rams, obviously, if they win this game, are still a really good chance.
Oh, yeah.
But if they lose this game, I mean, it would be bad. And I think this Bears team will be playing desperate. With that being said, though, I still think the Rams will win. I can see a scenario where the Bears come out and they look really good and they play well. Mm-hmm. And, you know, Mitch Trubisky looks like the number 2 overall pick a couple years ago. Yeah. But I think Cooper Kupp has a bounce back game. I think the Rams are kind of. Pretty much, I just think that the Rams offense is going to be able to score more points than the Bears offense is.
Oh, for sure.
The Bears defense is obviously really good, but the Rams offense is so much better than the Bears offense. So I think the Rams will end up getting it done, but the Bears are going to be playing desperate.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I think Mitch is going to be coming out there I think he should come out pretty hungry to want to prove some people wrong, just because it sounds like, you know, I've been hearing rumors of Cam potentially getting traded over to Chicago and all this stuff, or maybe even picking up a guy in the draft. So I think this game will be huge in proving to his coaches that, hey, don't give up on me so quick, you know?
Yeah, and they beat Jeff Driscoll last week, so it's
not like... So it's not that,
It's not like...
That doesn't improve anything.
Yeah,
right?
You gotta keep going, dude. No one's giving you points for the Jeff Driscoll win.
Right. But kind of moving on to my second game, I have the Patriots and the Eagles, a rematch from Super Bowl 52. Patriots coming off of that loss 2 weeks ago. They're coming off a bye week this week, so they've had an extra. Or no, I'm sorry, no, they didn't. Yeah, they both are coming.
I think both teams are coming off.
Sorry, both teams are coming off a bye, so they've had an extra week to get ready for each other. The Eagles are sitting at second place in the NFC East right now at 5-4. They're tied with the Cowboys at least.
Just lost
so this game will be huge for them in terms of taking a lead in the East. Patriots obviously got rocked the other week against the Ravens, so I think Bill will get these guys ready to go because I doubt that happens twice in a row. Mm-hmm. I'd be very surprised if that happens twice in a row. I think this is going to be a big game for the Eagles receivers as well. They got to step up against this secondary.
Yeah, the Eagles are the Patriots defense. I mean, just because Lamar dropped those points on them, like we can't forget about what they were doing before that.
Yeah.
And I mean, as you said, the Patriots coming off a bye, coming off a big loss. I mean, this is completely random, but I would bet that Bill Belichick's stats after a loss are probably something crazy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I would guess he doesn't lose many 2 in a row. You know, he doesn't go on many 2-game skids.
Oh yeah. So, and then adding a bye week on top of that, you know, it's just...
The Patriots are going to be ready to play.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That's for sure. But we got some good games this week. I mean, there's some other games the week that we're not even going to get to that I would have loved to talk about. We
easily could have.
Yeah, we have Kansas City Chargers. The Chargers have some life now. Kansas City obviously lost to Tennessee. That division is kind of close. The Raiders are only 1 game back. And then obviously we have a game like Detroit-Dallas. Really got to see what Dallas has. Got Minnesota, Denver. So, I mean, there's definitely some good games this week. But there's also some good college games this week.
Yes.
So moving on to our college games of the week, mine is going to be number 10 Oklahoma versus number 13 Baylor. And, you know, for the Big 12, this is a huge game in deciding if they have a team that has a chance for the playoff because the winner of this game pretty much can't lose again. You know, the winner of this game is going to either be the team that represents the Big 12 or no one's going to represent the Big 12.
And I think Baylor has the best chance of doing that regardless.
I think so as well, because Baylor obviously is undefeated, but they haven't played anyone. Their best win was 31-13 over Kansas State, who was unranked when they played them, but they're ranked 24 now. But that's the same Kansas State that beat Oklahoma.
Yeah.
So, Baylor's coming into this game with a shot at, a big dog in the Big 12. Everyone's expecting Baylor to win this game. And, I mean, they have a good chance of doing it, and I kind of want them to just because, I don't know, I like undefeated teams.
Yeah.
I don't know, but, I kind of want them just to prove people wrong, because they really haven't beaten anyone.
No.
And also, but the thing about this Baylor team, and the thing that I think they might be able to upset Oklahoma is, they're kind of gritty. They played TCU in the triple OT last week, got the win. They 3-point win over West Virginia 2 weeks ago, got the win. Double OT win over Texas Tech 4 weeks ago. Like, this team's been pushed to the edge a bunch of times, and they haven't lost yet. So I mean, they might be able to do it. I mean, we'll
for
see,
sure.
We'll see.
This team actually reminds me a lot of Minnesota in ways, just because both of these teams obviously they were on nobody's radar at the beginning of the season. They've quietly been climbing up the rankings all season. Minnesota got their signature win last week against Penn State, and now it's Baylor's turn.
Yeah. No one thought Minnesota had was going to win that game, especially the way they did, where they were kind of up for the majority of it.
Exactly, and I'm even just surprised that Baylor's even been able to turn everything around so quickly, because after the Art Briles stuff went down, I thought that I thought that program was kind of just screwed for a while.
Yeah, I mean, because people forget, 7 years ago Baylor was one of the. They were
fighting for one of the first playoff spots.
Yeah, they had a Heisman Trophy winner.
Yeah,
at RG3.
Yeah, and then they had Bryce Petty a year after. Or something.
Yeah, I'll definitely be tuning into this game. As I said, I hope Baylor just doesn't get rolled. You know what I mean? Because that would just suck, just for it being a good game. But
for sure,
I really think Baylor has a chance to upset them.
Oh, I can definitely see that. Moving on to my game, I have number 4 Georgia and number 12 Auburn. This is going to be obviously there's a ton riding on this game. There's always a ton riding on SEC games, but. This game in particular, if Georgia wins this game, they lock up their spot in the SEC championship game. So,
dang,
there's a lot riding on it for them. And then for Auburn as well, it's kind of playing spoiler, and then also keeping their hopes alive. Not for obviously the SEC championship or anything like that, but just making a big bowl game this season.
Making maybe a New Year's 6 or something.
Yeah, something to play for at the end of the year. So obviously this is going to be a huge game between these two. I'm really curious to see how Jake Fromm's going to come out. He seems to do well in big games for the most part, but I don't know. We'll just have to see. The offense is kind of injury-ridden all over. We got some offensive linemen that are gone. He's missing one of his top targets at receiver. So we'll have to see how they do against Auburn's front seven.
Yeah, and the weird thing is that, if Georgia wins this game, their loss to South Carolina almost doesn't matter anymore. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because they're right back up in the top 4, heading to the SEC championship, where if they win that game, they will be in the playoff. You know what I mean? That's the way it's going to work.
Assuming LSU wins out and they can somehow beat LSU.
Yeah.
I don't see how you can keep either team out at that point, to be honest.
I agree. We'd probably end up with both of them, assuming Georgia could do that. But obviously they have to win this game first, just to have the chance. But, you felt like that loss to South Carolina might have ended them, where it definitely did not. You know what I mean? They're going to have all the opportunity in the world to make it up. So that'll definitely be interesting to watch. Little bonus extra college game. Minnesota, again, this time versus Iowa.
At Iowa.
Iowa, they're the underdogs still, which is pretty crazy. The number 8 ranked team in the nation, undefeated as an underdog versus a 3-loss 20 ranked team or whatever.
Somehow.
I was right, so that's pretty weird.
It's a very tough place to play, though. Playing at Iowa is extremely hard.
Not fun. But honestly, I think Minnesota can get that done even. I think...
I'm pulling for them now.
Yeah, we are quickly moving towards Ohio State, Minnesota. Because Wisconsin has 2 losses in a conference. So as long as they can win either this game or...
Honestly,
do they play anyone else? Minnesota?
No, I think it's Minnesota. I think it's Iowa and then Wisconsin.
Yeah. So, Minnesota has a chance here. So that would definitely be another game I will be watching. But moving on to our betting picks. My first one, hopefully I get one right. Because I'm on
a little rough patch.
Yeah. I'm on a little slide right now. 0 for 4 in the past 2 weeks. But I feel good about these, like I say every week. But Saints -5.5 versus the Bucks. Saints are obviously coming off that embarrassing performance versus the Falcons, and lost to a 1-7 team. So I think they're going to come back. They're going to be ready to play. The Buccaneers stink anyway, and I think they come back. The offense is ready. They get things moving again, and I think they just kind of roll them over.
Yeah, turn Jameis Winston into Jameis Winston, and you'll be fine.
Yeah, Jameis will throw you a timely pick or two. Offense rolling easy. I really hope that one's good. But my other one, I've literally taken this exact same bet earlier. I had 49ers. I think it was either -9.5 or -10 versus the Cardinals in Arizona a couple weeks ago on Thursday Night Football. And I'm taking it again. I lost the bet the first time because of a long Andy Isabella touchdown at the very end of the game to make them cover, and then the 49ers just ran the ball out. But this time, they're at home. There's going to be no BS cover touchdown. 49ers are getting it done.
Oh, yeah. Moving on to my picks. At first, I went with I'm kind of going against both of my actual picks from before the season.
That's what I did last week.
Yeah, so
be careful.
I'm going Ravens -4 against the Texans. I actually kind of like this spread. I can definitely see this being a close game, but I personally don't see them stopping the Ravens, and I think they can at least win by 4, clearly. So, yeah. So I can see them covering that one. And then my other pick, I went Jags +3 against the Colts. Like I had said earlier, I'm feeling kind of confident that they can come out and they'll just be the more desperate team in this game. And then with Jacoby coming back, we'll see how he plays on that ankle.
I think you're a little addicted to betting on the Jags.
I am.
I think that's either the third or fourth time
you're probably right.
You've chose the Jags. They just keep being underdogs. Always looks like good value.
And honestly, though, if you really think about it, if Nick Foles is doing terrible, Garner's in your back pocket. Garner's in your back pocket. But I mean, hopefully that won't come to that. But I just kind of miss Garner.
I agree. Bonus pick for you guys: Bills -6 versus Dolphins. There's no way they win. They play 3 good games in a row, right?
There's no way.
There's no way. I didn't think they played 2 good games in a row, though. So we'll see.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, the Bills don't put up a ton of points anyways, but there's no way.
They have to be able to get. Dude, if the Bills don't cover versus the Dolphins, I'm completely out on the Bills. Just as a team.
Mm-hmm.
But with that, guys, that's going to be our show. Week 11's coming up. We're actually getting it's kind of crazy how close we are to the end of the season now.
Yeah, it's been flying
by. We have almost a quarter left. We're getting closer and closer. But I mean, I'm excited to see how things go. Got some great matchups, and be sure to subscribe, guys, and we will see you next week.
See you.